Now on Coast TV News.
Scooters in Ocean City. Why the council believes too many are on the road.
The Osprey Point community, where homeowners say luxury promises have turned into a legal battle.
Oyster milestone, another big step in restoring Maryland's bay waters. How today's oyster planting moves the Chesapeake closer to restoration.
And despite the cooler feel outside, we have a burning sun concern in our area. I'll explain what that means in a moment.
This is Coast TV News at 5.
Ocean City roads staying busy during the summertime. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Cikitis. We begin tonight with an influx of scooters in Ocean City.
According to the Ocean City Council, scooter collisions are at an all-time high in the town. Coast TV News reporter Kevin Zipay is live there. And Kevin, the council is looking for ways to prevent those crashes.
Maddie, right behind me is the bus and bike lane that scooters have been using all summer. And according to the Ocean City agenda, there's been a total of 38 scooter collisions so far, something the Ocean City Council is trying to prevent. Buses, bikes, and scooters all share the road in Ocean City. But according to local Ken Kuyawa, it's not always a smooth ride.
The cars and the scooters and the bikes don't even sometimes obey the traffic lights or the stop signs.
On Tuesday, the Ocean City Council is looking for ways to manage the surge of scooters in town. According to the Ocean City agenda, scooter collisions have reached an all-time high in town, with 38 crashes reported so far this year.
It's sad, but somebody's going to end up getting seriously injured.
The council is discussing whether or not to ban scooters on Coastal Highway, Baltimore Avenue, and Philadelphia Avenue. City staff believes that high speed, instability, and low visibility of these scooters make them unfit for certain roads. And people agree.
It's a great way to commute, but needs to be considered because it's not the same way it used to be when these laws were written. I'm sure there has to be some update there.
But passing this rule is tougher than it sounds, since these roads are owned by the state of Maryland. Ocean City would need state approval before making any changes. Today, the Ocean City Council voted to seek a state rule change where they're allowed to regulate if scooters should be on state roads in their town. I'm Kevin Zipay, live in Ocean City, Coast TV News.
Scooters weren't the only issue the Ocean City Council discussed. Starting October 1st, the state of Maryland will allow bikes to ride on the sidewalks. But the town of Ocean City is considering its own rule to negate that. According to the agenda, most sidewalks are narrow and too busy, and today council agreed to draft an ordinance banning bikes on the sidewalks, except in areas approved by the mayor and council.
All of this brings us right into the Coast TV poll for the evening. We want to know where you think scooters should be allowed.
Let's take a look at the results so far. Take a look at your screen, and 69% right now say bike lanes only, though it looks like 22% say nowhere at all. They don't even want any of those scooters there.
This is the first time we've run this poll. If you want to vote, if you want to leave a comment, you can do both those things at coasttv.com or use the Coast TV mobile app. In the Osprey Point community of Rehoboth Beach, a conference took place where an attorney and homeowners announced that they are suing the builder NV Homes. Coast TV News reporter Emma Aiken is live there in Rehoboth. Emma, people in the community say this was their last resort.
Charlie, homeowners in the Osprey Point community just put up these signs behind me today. The side to my right shows what homeowners say they were promised years ago. It's resort-style living with waterfront access, boat slips, an infinity pool. The side to my left is what homeowners say the development still looks like now. They say they got none of the amenities that they were promised. Now they're going to court. The lawsuit alleges that NV Homes violated multiple acts and deceived homeowners, alleging they were deprived of millions of dollars. Coast TV spoke with an attorney of the case who says she believes the lawsuit is worth a number in the 20 millions. We reached out to NVR Inc., who owns NV Homes. They put us in contact with a media contact who repeatedly told us no comment due to company policy. Homeowners in Osprey Point tell us they just want the funds back.
We have construction equipment, we have overgrown vegetation, which is not what we were promised. So NV, I guess it's time to get your checkbook out.
To be clear, NV Homes is the builder here. There have already been previous lawsuits between NV Homes and the developer, Osprey Point Preserve. But in this situation, the homeowners are not alleging that Osprey Point did anything wrong. Reporting live here in Rehoboth Beach, Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
Today was the culmination of a decades-long project to restore the oyster population in Maryland waters. As part of the Chesapeake Bay Watershed Agreement, the state has been working with local agencies and nonprofits to restore the population in 5 tributaries. In today's planting in the Mannequin River, that was one of the last. Dr. Allison Colden with the Chesapeake Bay Foundation says the oysters are a keystone species, cleaning the water of the bay and helping out other marine life.
They also create their own habitat called oyster reefs, which are not only habitat for the oysters themselves, but more than 300 different species that live on and around those reefs.
Colden says the project has created over 1,300 acres that reef in the bay. The Maryland Department of Natural Resources says 7 billion oysters have been planted across the 5 tributaries during this project.
And we're taking a live look into Laurel right now. A banner day out there as we check in with First Alert Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams.
And you know, the thing about today's sunshine and tomorrow's sunshine, it's just innocently going along, helping us to enjoy our day. However, because of the lack of this right here, the lack of cloud cover, all that blue sky is actually opening the door for the UV index to skyrocket once again, believe it or not. As cool as it may feel, and it will feel cool, we'll cool down to 71 degrees by the 9 o'clock hour with a few scattered clouds in place for us. And the winds are staying relatively docile for us, but we're at 81 degrees in Long Neck and Milton, 82 in Redden, 79 right now, and Laurel as well as Georgetown. Current waves are continuing to subside for us. Now we're down to only 3-foot waves. But our UV index, well, believe it or not, we're looking at a possibility of an 8 for us, actually. So we could actually still end up with burn time of 35. Hat, sunglasses, and sunscreen. Still, although as cool as it may feel and feel like fall, got to be mindful of that. But our watches and warnings have been allowed to expire in our immediate area, with the one exception over towards Cambridge, where we still have an active small craft advisory bracing for 24-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Finally, here's a look at our evening planner. We're looking at it to stay clear.
All right, Paul, thank you. The Delaware Electric Cooperative is asking for your help to find a car that crashed into one of its electric poles last week. According to the co-op, it happened early last week near Seaford. Take a look at damage on your screen now. Officials say the crash caused about $4,000 in damage. DEC believes the car that hit this pole is a 2009 to 2011 Toyota Corolla, last seen driving on South Atlanta Road.
Today, Maryland Governor Wes Moore redesignated some towns as arts and entertainment districts. Locally, Berlin and Denton are now eligible for tax incentives.
We're going to move forward now to President Trump holding his 7th cabinet meeting today. As NBC's Yamiche Alcindor reports, it comes over a period of economic turmoil with tariff uncertainty, Trump's crime crackdown, and more.
For being here as we prepare.
Today, President Trump kicked off a cabinet meeting at the White House by touting what he sees as his administration's biggest accomplishment so far.
Our country's in incredible shape.
One focus of the meeting, the president's crackdown on crime after sending armed National Guard troops to the nation's capital. And this announcement.
If somebody kills somebody in the Capitol, Washington, D.C., we're going to be seeking the death penalty.
Now the president is threatening to send troops to other cities, including Baltimore and Chicago. The Windy City mayor fighting back.
This president in the federal government has literally declared war on poor people. I remember a time when presidents declared war on poverty.
Meanwhile, the president also acknowledging the criticism that he is abusing his power.
So the line is that I'm a dictator, but I stop crime. So a lot of people say, if that's the case, I'd rather have a dictator.
He also praised his cabinet for the work they've done on the economy.
Every policy of the Trump administration is designed to lift up the American worker.
Though some tariffs have created chaos in the trade industry and caused price hikes for consumers. Today's meeting came after President Trump announced he would attempt to remove Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook, the first black woman to serve on the board. The president is accusing Cook of mortgage fraud, but she has not been charged with any crime. Cook's attorney says she will challenge her firing in a lawsuit. The president's latest move is part of a greater effort by him to gain more control of America's central bank. He has been railing against Fed Chair Jerome Powell for months, demanding the board lower interest rates. the efforts leading many to criticize the president.
And I really hope that the court steps in and does its job with respect to making clear that the Federal Reserve is incredibly important and its independence is paramount.
Now, it's still unclear whether President Trump can fire Lisa Cook. Her lawyer says the president has no authority to do so. And in May, the Supreme Court called the Fed a, quote, uniquely structured quasi-private entity that led many, including some legal experts, to believe the president cannot remove any Fed board member or the chairman. Yamiche Alcindor, NBC News, the White House.
Coming up, Nike reveals Caitlin Clark's new logo when you can expect her new collection.
And the beaches are going to stay a bit on the bright side, but also a bit on the breezy side. A complete look at your weather outlook coming up.
But first, blue envelopes popping up in Delaware. What the program is, who it supports, up next.
This is Coast TV News at 5.
A new program launched today in Delaware aimed at supporting drivers with disabilities and improving communication with law enforcement. The Blue Envelope program, launched by Delaware State Police and partners, gives drivers with disabilities an envelope to show officers during traffic stops. It holds their license, registration, insurance, and tips or medical details that could affect behavior. Officials say the goal is to support drivers with
This is to reduce that anxiety for the driver.
We're just going to move forward now. I think we have Paul's Bay forecast.
Take a look at our Bay forecast. We're expecting 77 degrees on Wednesday, beautiful sunshine, a few scattered clouds in place for us on Thursday and Friday. But this bright sunshiny day on Wednesday, it could be a little bit problematic. I'll have the details and explain what I mean by that coming right up. Well, in the wake of dealing with a hurricane last week, you wouldn't think that sunshine would be a problem, and it's not necessarily a problem, but a little something I need to just kind of, as a reminder, as we're closing out the summer season, going into the fall season, we're still concerned about you getting burned by the sun, no matter how cool it may feel outside. So, Ocean City, our dry tech camera, we're at 75 degrees. Dew point down in the 50s, so we're talking about a relatively dry atmosphere, so it's not going to be muggy or anything close to that for the next few days in a row. And we will see increasing cloud cover as going to the late night hours, but we're still expecting it to clear out in time for tomorrow morning, and that's where the concern for the sunshine comes into play. We are currently at 74 degrees, not only at the Indian River Inlet, but also in Rehoboth Beach, Lewis, but we're a bit warmer as you go farther inland. We're at 79 degrees right now, not only in Seaford, but also in Georgetown, as well as in Bridgeville at this present time with plenty of sunshine. The winds, kind of depending on where you are, throughout the inland areas, coming out of the west-northwest, close to the shore, coming in out of the east, and so they're all kind of congregating or coming together right here along the coast for us where we have the beaches. Now, watches and warnings have been allowed to expire. Wanted to just kind of show you this as an update so that all of the residual warnings and watches and advisories and statements that we had connected to Aaron have now expired and no longer a big deal. We have the cold front, this is to our north, and we have that flow of cool air coming out of the north. Now, just kind of give you a feel as to what's been happening for the past month. We've had more below normal temperatures than, let's say, above normal temperatures, and more dramatically below the norm for the past few days. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. But here's the caveat with the sunshine that we're expecting. We're still in the very high category. High is at 7, very high is at 8. So we're going to bounce back between 8 and 7 for the next 4 to 5 days in a row. So that means you could actually get a sunburn despite how cool it is. So please remember your sunscreen and try to limit your time outdoors during the afternoon, particularly if you're susceptible to get burned very easily. 76 degrees in Lewis for the high for tomorrow. And we're expecting a high of 76 degrees in Cambridge as well as Federalsburg and in Vienna. And we anticipate mostly sunny skies with winds out of the north-northwest for us in Berlin as well as Snow Hill and in Ocean City. One thing about the along the coast forecast, we're looking for an abundance of sunshine to kick in. The winds will be pushing primarily out of the north and the northwest, ranging between, let's say, 12 to up to 16 mile per hour winds steadily, occasional gusts up to about 20. And then as we go into the daytime hours, we're looking for temperatures climbing into the 70s. For Thursday, a bit cloudy for the start, but we'll still clear out. So for tonight, 58. And then for tomorrow, 77 with brilliant sunshine. And then for Thursday, partly sunny skies, but a bit cool, particularly in the early morning hours. Finally, here's a look at your 7-day forecast. And we are expecting for temperatures to ease ever so slightly into the lower 80s for Thursday and Friday.
Thank you, Paul. And that perfectly pleasant forecast is not what we saw last week. On your screen right now are photos of the work being done on Chincoteague's beach parking area. According to the Assateague Island National Seashore, the damage is from Hurricane Aaron's storm surge and those high tides. Some areas buried in over 5 feet of sand that damaged a whole bunch of stuff in the area. The parking and the beaches, those are currently closed to visitors. That includes Tom's Cove's Visitor Center. Now, the hope is to have as much parking as possible by the time we get to Labor Day weekend.
WNBA star Caitlin Clark is Nike basketball's newest signature athlete. Her Nike signature logo was unveiled on Monday. Nike said a, quote, smaller hidden C represents how Caitlin's game was built from the inside out. The first t-shirt from Clark's logo collection will drop on Nike.com September 1st. Nike will release Clark's signature collection of sportswear, including shoes, next year. Coming up tonight on the Delmarva Sports Network, football preview at 8, a field hockey preview at 9, a soccer preview at 9:30, a volleyball preview at 10, and then no preview, just the final score at 10:30.
And coming up, Korean Air and Hyundai both investing more into the U.S. Exactly how much more? That's coming up next. You're going to want to stay tuned on Coast TV News at 5. As of Monday, Korean Air and Hyundai are investing in the U.S. Korean Air says it plans to buy 103 airplanes, engines, and maintenance program, all for $50 billion. Hyundai says they're upping their investment in the U.S. from $21 billion to $26 billion. Earlier in the day, the president of South Korea met with President Trump in the Oval Office. Business officials from Korean and U.S. companies were also in attendance.
A federal judge has thrown out the Trump administration's lawsuit against all 15 federal judges in Maryland. The judge rejected the Justice Department's bid to limit court power in fast-moving immigration cases. The opinion on Tuesday framed the lawsuit as a major constitutional standoff. The judge said the government didn't have the legal right to bring the challenge, and the judges are immune from such suits brought by the executive branch.
Nobody has won the jackpot in Powerball since May 31st. Now it's expected to reach $815 million before Wednesday's drawing. That would make it the 7th largest in the lottery's history. The cash value of that payout, if taken in a lump sum, would be about $368 million. The jackpot could go even higher if more people than expected buy tickets. Of course, that also increases the likelihood of a winner or multiple winners.
Well, the phrase was on Instagram, your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married. That's literally what Taylor Swift wrote on Instagram as she announced her engagement to pro athlete Travis Kelce. The post was scored by the fan favorite So High School from her album The Tortured Poets Department, written about Kelce. Here's some shots that they posted on Instagram. Congrats to the happy couple. And now here's a live look outside into Lewis. Beautiful evening. One more check on the forecast after this.
Coming up new on Coast TV News at 6, it's Women's Equality Day, the story of women's rights to vote, and more on Coast TV News at 6.
The Blood Bank of Delmarva is holding its annual Blood for a Brew. The blood drive is held at coffee shops and breweries to make up for the shortfall of donations that come from the summer season. Today, this drive, you see, was held at Dogfish Head Brewery in Milton. Walk-in appointments were limited, but the blood bank invited everybody out to donate if possible.
All blood types are needed, and for those who don't know their blood type, I would encourage you to donate. Give it a try, see if you like it. We'll tell you your blood type for free, and you might end up being one of the blood types that is in most demand, whether it's O positive, O negative.
The drive will continue at Dogfish Head tomorrow from 10 to 5.
All right, let's take a look at our camera right now, courtesy of Tyndall's Casual Furniture. We're holding at a steady 78 degrees with an abundance of sunshine for today. And we're expecting a good deal of sunshine for tomorrow. Winds are pushing out of the west-northwest at about 8 miles per hour. As far as our forecast is concerned for this evening, we will see scattered cloud cover to mainly clear skies for us. And Laurel will drop back to about 67 degrees as early as 9 o'clock for this evening. By the way, you can always keep up with your forecast by calling our weather line. The number to call is 443-880-9100. Your forecast is just a call away, sponsored by the law offices of Brugstead, Mandalis, and Federico. Finally, here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. Now, we are going to have temperatures in the 70s for Wednesday and lots of sunshine, but remember, the UV index is a bit on the high side, so wear the sunblock.
All right, Paul, thank you, and thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 5.
For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
Inside Edition is up next.
And we're going to see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 6. Have a great evening.